The day a champion challenged the wrong man. Long Beach, California, June 1972. It was a warm Saturday afternoon, and the Long Beach arena was packed. 3,000 people filled every seat: competitors, coaches, serious martial arts followers, and curious spectators who had shown up because word had gotten around that this year's International Karate Championships was worth attending. The tournament had been running for 5 years and had built a genuine reputation as one of the most serious competitive events in the martial arts world. People had come from Japan, Korea, Thailand, Sweden, across Europe, and from every corner of the United States. The competition floor was marked in red and blue matted squares indicating boundaries, though anyone who had competed at this level understood that boundaries were more of a suggestion than a firm rule. 8 judges in dark suits sat at tables around the perimeter, clipboards in hand, tasked with measuring something that doesn't measure easily. The tournament had started at 9 that morning. It was now 2 in the afternoon. Preliminaries were done, semifinals were done. The finals were about to begin. And in the front row of Section A, reserved seating, sat a small man in a black jacket and black trousers who had arrived 30 minutes earlier and had been recognized immediately by everyone within visual range. The whisper moved through the arena like a quiet wave, row by row, section by section. Bruce Lee was in the building. He had been invited as a special guest, not a competitor. He had competed at Long Beach before and performed impressively, then made a deliberate decision that demonstration interested him more than winning trophies. For the past 3 years, he had been developing Jeet Kune Do, a philosophy that rejected rigid, fixed fighting styles in favor of total adaptability. The idea that a fighter should be able to read any situation and respond to what was actually in front of him, rather than executing a predetermined system regardless of what the opponent was doing. He sat with his legs crossed and hands folded, wearing the calm, neutral expression of someone who is paying complete attention while simultaneously processing several other things at once. Beside him sat Dan Inosanto, his most senior student, a Filipino-American martial artist who had absorbed more from 2 years training with Bruce than 15 years studying everything else. Tournament director Ed Parker, a compact, experienced martial artist who had organized the Long Beach Championships from the very beginning, raised his microphone at the edge of the competition floor. 3,000 people went quiet almost instantly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching the finals of the heavyweight division, open category, full contact. Our finalists are Robert Chen from San Francisco, representing Tiger Crane Kung Fu, and Dolph Lundgren from Stockholm, Sweden, representing Kyokushin Karate. The name Dolph Lundgren meant nothing to most people in the arena. He had arrived 2 days earlier, registered in the heavyweight division, and fought through the preliminary rounds with a combination of power and technical precision that had impressed the judges and genuinely unsettled every opponent he faced. He had made it to the finals without anyone in the American martial arts community knowing who he was, where he had trained, or what to expect from him. What they knew now, after watching him fight, he was 15 years old, 6'5", 215 pounds, and had won every single match by knockout. Tournament officials had checked his birth certificate twice because a 15-year-old who looked and competed the way this young man did seemed like some kind of administrative error, but the certificate was completely legitimate. The Swedish Karate Federation confirmed his background without hesitation, and Ed Parker, who had seen a great many fighters over the years and understood that truly exceptional ones arrived in unexpected forms, allowed him to compete. Dolph Lundgren walked onto the competition floor from the south entrance. 3,000 people reacted with the particular sound a crowd makes when something enters their field of vision that doesn't fit neatly into any existing category.
His white karate uniform looked slightly too small, which made complete sense since training uniforms were manufactured for average-sized martial artists, and there was absolutely nothing average about Dolph Lundgren's physical presence. His black belt indicated his rank in Kyokushin, the most demanding and physically punishing style of Japanese karate, built on the philosophy that the best preparation for real fighting is constant full-contact sparring, and that the best way to learn to absorb a powerful strike is to absorb a great many powerful strikes over many years. He walked to the center of the mat with the easy, unhurried confidence of someone who had never lost and had no mental framework yet for imagining what losing might feel like. His expression was the open, uncomplicated expression of a very young person who is genuinely exceptional at something and has not yet encountered the specific experience that tends to introduce humility. The final. The first round was not a fight in the way most people in that arena understood fighting. It was a clear demonstration of what happens when someone very large, very strong, and very well trained decides to end something as efficiently as possible. Lundgren came forward immediately with the direct, linear aggression that defines Kyokushin, a style that doesn't treat defense as separate from offense, but rather operates on the principle that the most effective defense is to hit your opponent harder and faster than they can hit you. His opening technique was a front kick, right leg, aimed at Robert Chen's midsection, delivered with the full momentum of 215 pounds behind it. Chen attempted to block, getting his forearms up to redirect the force. He redirected most of it. Most of the force from a 6'5" Kyokushin practitioner was still more than enough to move Chen backward 3 full steps. Lundgren followed immediately with a combination: left punch to the head, right punch to the body, left low kick to the leg. Chen avoided the first, blocked the second, absorbed the third. The impact of the low kick was audible from the front rows, the sharp, distinct sound of a shin connecting with a thigh with enough force to leave bruising that would last 2 weeks. The round continued for 3 full minutes in the same pattern, Lundgren attacking with the mechanical efficiency of someone executing a well-rehearsed plan, Chen defending with desperate improvisation, trying to survive until the plan exhausted itself. It never exhausted itself. When the bell ended the first round, Lundgren walked back to his corner breathing normally, as though he had been taking a casual walk rather than systematically trying to put another human being on the floor. Chen walked back with a visible limp. The second round lasted just over a minute. Lundgren threw a roundhouse kick, left leg, aimed at Chen's head. Chen saw it coming and attempted to duck. He wasn't quite fast enough. The kick connected cleanly. Chen went down. The referee stopped the fight. Dolph Lundgren had won the heavyweight division of the Long Beach International Karate Championships by technical knockout in the second round. The arena responded with applause that was genuine but measured, appreciating the technical quality of what had just happened while remaining slightly uncertain about exactly what it had just witnessed. The challenge. Lundgren walked to the center mat. The referee raised his hand. Ed Parker brought out the trophy, 3 feet of chrome and polished wood that looked noticeably small in Lundgren's hands. Then, instead of bowing and leaving the floor as protocol required, Lundgren turned to face the crowd directly. He was still holding the trophy. He raised the microphone. 3,000 people went quiet immediately, curious. Lundgren's voice came through the speakers, clear English, shaped by a Swedish accent. "Thank you. This tournament is very good. Competition is very good." A brief pause. "But I came here for more than competition." 3,000 people waited to learn what a 15-year-old Swedish champion had come to Long Beach for, if not the trophy he was currently holding. "I came because I have heard about American martial arts. I have heard about Kung Fu. I have heard about Bruce Lee."
He said the name, and the arena shifted visibly, a ripple of collective understanding moving through 3,000 people as they simultaneously grasped where this was heading. In the front row, Dan Inosanto leaned to Bruce and said something quietly. Bruce's expression didn't change. Lundgren continued, "I train Kyokushin karate in Sweden. 5 years, hard training, full contact, real fighting. We hear about Kung Fu. We hear about Bruce Lee. We hear that Chinese martial arts are superior." He gave deliberate weight to that last word. "I watch demonstrations. I watch films. Very fast, very impressive. But a demonstration is not a fight. A film is not real." The arena was completely silent now.
The exhibition. Bruce Lee stepped onto the mat in his black trousers and black jacket. Street clothes, no training uniform, which made the contrast with Lundgren even more immediate and impossible to ignore. Lundgren in his white Kyokushin uniform, 6'5", 215 pounds, proven tournament champion. Bruce in black street clothes, 5'7", 145 pounds, someone the crowd had seen only in demonstrations and films. Ed Parker raised the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have an unscheduled exhibition match. 3 minutes, 1 round, full contact. Dolph Lundgren, Kyokushin Karate Champion, versus Bruce Lee, Jeet Kune Do. Fight!" The bell rang. Lundgren opened with immediate forward pressure. Kyokushin philosophy made physical. Front kick, right leg, aimed at Bruce's midsection. The same technique that had moved Robert Chen backward 3 steps with ease. Bruce was not there when it arrived. He had moved, not backward, not sideways, but at a forward angle Lundgren hadn't anticipated. 45 degrees forward and to the left, stepping inside the kicking range before the kick had fully extended. Lundgren's leg found empty air. Before Lundgren could retract it, Bruce had already moved again, this time to Lundgren's right side, a position from which an opponent can attack while you cannot effectively defend. Bruce didn't attack. He reset, returned to neutral distance, and waited. The crowd watched with the particular held tension that develops when people are watching something they cannot entirely explain but can feel the importance of. 1 minute passed. Lundgren was breathing harder, not exhausted, but working, expending energy at a rate that couldn't be sustained for 3 full minutes. Bruce was breathing completely normally, as if standing still rather than moving constantly. Lundgren threw the same roundhouse kick that had finished Chen, left leg, high, aimed at Bruce's head, fast and powerful and fully committed. Bruce went under it, not away from it, under it, which meant he was moving toward Lundgren at the exact moment Lundgren's balance was most committed and least recoverable. For the first time in the match, Bruce countered, not with a punch, with a touch. His right hand, open palm, made contact with Lundgren's solar plexus, light, controlled, carrying no damaging force, just enough to be completely clear. Lundgren felt it, felt the precision of it, felt with absolute clarity what would have happened if Bruce had chosen to strike rather than touch. The fight would have been over. 2 minutes passed. The crowd was no longer silent. 3,000 people were generating the particular sound of an audience witnessing something they cannot entirely explain, but can feel the importance of. What they were watching, a 15-year-old tournament champion, 6'5", 215 pounds, trained in one of the most demanding fighting systems in the world, completely unable to land a single clean technique on a man 7 inches shorter and 70 pounds lighter. A man who had not thrown one serious strike in 2 full minutes of fighting. Lundgren threw everything,
Punches, kicks, combinations, every technique from 5 years of serious Kyokushin training. Bruce moved through all of it, present but untouchable, there but somehow not available, demonstrating with every single evasion that the gap between a performance of fighting and actual fighting was not what Lundgren had believed it to be. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Lundgren was breathing hard now, the kind of breathing that comes when someone has been operating at maximum effort and is approaching the outer edge of what maximum effort can maintain. Bruce had been waiting for exactly this. When Lundgren threw his next punch, a right cross aimed at Bruce's jaw, Bruce didn't evade. He blocked. Then he moved forward. For the first time in the entire match, Bruce attacked with genuine intent. What followed occupied approximately 2 seconds of actual time and would be analyzed and discussed by everyone present for the remainder of their lives. Bruce landed 6 strikes in those 2 seconds. All controlled, all light contact, but the placement was absolute. Solar plexus, floating rib, temple, throat, kidney, back of the knee. 6 different targets, 6 different angles, 6 precise strikes that demonstrated 6 distinct ways to end a fight immediately and completely. Lundgren felt each one, felt the deliberate control in each one, felt with no possibility of misunderstanding that any single one of those strikes delivered with full force rather than demonstration force would have put him down and kept him there. The last strike, to the back of the knee, caused Lundgren's leg to give way. He didn't fall, but he went down to one knee involuntarily, his leg responding to the strike before his mind could override the signal. The referee was already moving forward to stop the fight. Bruce had already stepped back. The bell rang. 3 minutes. Lundgren was on one knee, breathing hard, looking up at Bruce Lee, who was standing 7 feet away, breathing completely normally, wearing the same calm, neutral expression he had worn throughout every second of the match. The arena came apart. Not with polite tournament applause, with the sound of 3,000 people who have just witnessed something that exists completely outside the normal categories of sport. After the bell, Bruce walked across the mat and extended his hand. Lundgren looked at it for a moment. Then he took it. Bruce pulled him to his feet. They stood facing each other, the height difference still dramatic, but the dynamic between them entirely different from 3 minutes earlier. Bruce spoke quietly, only Lundgren and the referee close enough to hear. "You are very good. Strong, fast, excellent technique. You will be even better." Lundgren, still working to catch his breath, managed, "How? How did you? I couldn't touch you." "Because you were fighting what you expected to find. I was fighting what was actually there." He gestured toward the edge of the floor. "Come, we talk." They sat together backstage on a bench. Dan Inosanto brought water. The adrenaline gradually faded, and Lundgren's English became more fluid. Bruce asked him directly, "Why did you challenge me?" "Because I wanted to know," Lundgren said. "Everyone says Bruce Lee is the best, but I had never seen real proof. I had seen films, I had seen demonstrations, but demonstrations are controlled situations. I wanted to see something real." Bruce nodded slowly. "And now?" Lundgren thought about it carefully. Then he said something that demonstrated he had genuinely absorbed the lesson being offered. "Now I understand that real is different from what I thought it was. I believed real meant power. You showed me that real means understanding." Bruce smiled, the first smile since the entire sequence of events had begun. "Good. That is the lesson." He leaned forward. "Keep